Live from New York, it's the show that is considering repossessing Marcus Smart's Defensive Player of the Year robe.
Good take.
Wow. It's first things first. It was a nice robe. That was a lot.
They're happy.
Oh my God! It's
they
like
just
a Salvador
won a
Dali
big playoff series.
Yeah. They won against a Kawhi and Paul George-less team.
Correct.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to be.
Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
Top 75 player of all
Okay,
time.
Bruce, stop.
I mean, at you hard.
Bruce,
Okay,
stop.
but
that Clippers team they beat yesterday, if that were the team all year long, would have been a lottery team. We know that. And Russ just came off his best playoff series in 6 years, and it started with 3 for 19, and they ended with 3 for 18. And yet, so here's the thing about where I'm at with the Suns, Wildes. Mm-hmm. Going into this postseason, I felt like they were conference finalists at a minimum. And that if they all fit together, they could be the most dangerous team in the league. They have now won 4 games in a row.
Yeah.
And I feel worse about them than at any point. Can I tell you why?
You've gotten worse every game.
Can I tell you?
You said that
more they
every
win, I go,
week.
yeah,
Yeah, can I tell you? So yesterday, hold on, nobody could have felt good about yesterday. Yesterday, they're up 20 against a team that is without its 2 best guys at home, had a 50-point third quarter. Mm-hmm. But Devin Booker is breathing fire out his eyeballs. And all of a sudden, Russell Westbrook has a layup to tie the game with 2 minutes and change left. I said after the first couple games that the Suns' plan is a plan we've never seen before.
Right.
Have Booker and Durant score around 65 a night, and then you'll be fine. And so the minutes thing, and we can show it to you now that they're done with the first round, the minutes thing, we can show you the numbers. It's untenable. Just untenable. This is everyone left in the playoffs. That's 3 of your top 9, one of them in the whole league. One of them is Chris Paul, who's old, and the only 2 guys averaging far over 40 minutes are your 2 wing guys. Now, are they producing? Yes, but Brew, here's my concern. What they're doing, the Suns need every last bit of it, and it is not sustainable. So show us Booker and Durant's combined production. So Booker and Durant are giving you 65 a night on 57, 46, 91 splits. Brew, the most prolific scoring duo that ever won a championship, Kobe and Shaq in 2001, didn't even average 60 a night. The second most prolific was Steph and KD. They averaged 56 a night. The idea that this is going to keep up and lead to a title, we've never seen it in NBA history, and it's not going to.
Well, some of what you say is concerning. I'm not nearly as down on the Suns as you are. I think they're one of those teams with a great chance to win it. The depth is obviously somewhat of an issue, but Cam Payne came back last night, only played 3 minutes.
Yeah.
But if he's now going to be back, that'll lessen the minutes for Chris Paul. And what is happening with the Suns, and you talked about a lot of unprecedented stuff. What's also unprecedented is a team that played 8 regular season games together is going to win the championship. Okay, so they're fighting an uphill battle on a lot of fronts. Now, in today's three-point shooting era, a lot of things happen that are unprecedented. Before Golden State won championships, no jump shooting team was going to win the championship. So it's a different day and age. But they are getting to know each other. They've played 13 games with Kevin Durant. Yeah. And that's why some of these games are so close. That's why there are these lulls and these long stretches where they look bad or mediocre. And last night was a prime example, Nick. Last night, and they got to figure this out because I don't like this. Why that game got close was because they forgot about Kevin Durant. Monty Williams forgot about him. Chris Paul forgot about him. And Kevin Durant didn't step up like he does to the media and say, I'm Kevin Durant. Y'all know who I am.
They were running in the fourth quarter like it was the 2016 Warriors and Kevin Durant was Harrison Barnes. Like I'm there in the corner, available if you need me. It's insane.
He went from the 10 something minute mark.
Yeah.
When he hit a jumper, it was 116.97.
Yeah.
He didn't shoot. He barely touched the ball.
Yes.
He didn't shoot for the next 10 minutes. And that's when the Clippers outscored them 33-16.
And I think that was
Durant isn't
layup.
shooting?
Yes.
Like you said, he was standing in the corner. You don't run. They're charging back at you. You don't run a play for him. You don't just. Chris Paul doesn't just say, "Let me get KD the right." None of that.
Yeah.
They forgot. And now he's got to be more assertive.
Sure.
But still, that's a part of this team coming together, getting to know each other. So I think it was a good series for them. I think they'll be fine against them.
You guys sound a little bit like football season.
What do you mean?
Football season when the Chiefs are running away with it, and I'm like, well, if that field goal went the other way, and you're like, dude, they keep winning, and I'm like, well, what if this penalty didn't happen? And you're like, Wildes, they just keep winning, just accept it, and I've learned to accept it. They're 12-1.
But Wildes,
they've lost one.
Wildes, let me ask you a question.
Oh my!
I'm not saying I'm not where Nick's at that they can't win it.
22-1 next year.
And to be clear, I'm not saying they can't win it. I'm saying this method of playing 5 guys, playing your stars 44 minutes a night, and relying on them to score 65 points per game, they can't win it that way. But I'm just curious. Let's just give the most liberal reading possible of teams that could win the title this year, right? So everyone that's left in the West, Golden State, Sacramento, the Lakers.
can't win the title.
Okay,
the title?
Just give me.
Just let him.
Just go with me here for a moment. I'm just basically saying everyone that's a real. I'm not counting Atlanta. Essentially, everyone that's left in the playoffs aside from Atlanta. Okay. How many of them would have gone 3-0 against the Clippers with no Kawhi and Paul George? All of them?
No, Miami would not. Several wouldn't.
Oh, okay. I disagree. I think that this Clippers team was not an adequate example of what the Suns are going to be up against. Okay. You let Russ and Norm Powell averaged 118 a night against you. Well, Russ and Norm Powell led offense, averaged 118 a night on you. That should be, to me, very concerning for the Suns, among other things.
I like Norm Powell.
I do too, but not as a number 2 guy on a playoff team.
Hook him up. He's pretty good. Okay, here's the KD and Booker. Not combined. This is broken out separately. This looks like Booker's team. Brew, are you surprised Booker outplayed Durant in this particular series?
No, look, I don't like necessarily using the word outplayed because they're teammates, obviously, and they're working together. But Booker was better, there's no doubt about it, and they both played really well. But no, I'm not surprised because, number one, the defense is focused more on stopping Kevin Durant.
Yeah. Okay,
so it's easier for Devin Booker. Devin Booker is enjoying what Kevin Durant enjoyed in Golden State.
Correct.
Where, the defense was focused on Steph. So Durant, if you can shoot, then you're getting open looks, you're getting single coverage, and a great player like a Durant or Devin Booker is going to be able to exploit that. So that's number one. Booker's, a great shooter, and he's getting less defensive attention than he ever has. And then two, Devin Booker's just flat out more assertive than Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant will sit there for 10 minutes, and if you don't give him the ball, just kind of run back and forth up and down the court. I guess some of it is that this is Devin. He's been on the Suns for a long time. He's used to his teammates. But still, Kevin Durant, he did it with Russell Westbrook.
It's everywhere he's ever been.
He wouldn't take the throne. He didn't take it from Kyrie. He's that type of, Skip Bayless used to refer to him as like a superstar role player, a superstar second guy. He's shown us over 15 years that he's not going to say, look, give me the rock. They're coming back. Give me the ball. I'm Kevin Durant. Y'all know who I am.
The only times I've seen him do that are the 2 finals against LeBron, where his team.
Did he?
Yeah, he did. Where his team was fully healthy, and he basically said, I'm taking this over. Yeah.
When they gave it to him, though. Steph was an accommodating superstar.
Yes, and I understand, but the point that I'm making is Durant is far better than Kyrie. Durant was far better than Russ. Durant and Steph call it a wash, and Durant is better than Booker. Much respect for Booker. We'll see if he makes it in Club Superstar next week. He's better than him. He has always let those other guys, if they want to cook. And it's just his nature. The only times where I saw that not happen were the 2017-2018 finals against LeBron, where I thought
I think it was just a smart team passing it to Kevin. I don't think
it.
if they had been a little more, we're not looking for him or we're not going to get it to him, I don't know that he would have taken it.
Russ came back to earth last night, 14 points. It's also the report coming out, Kawhi tore his meniscus.
Yeah.
So that's why he missed the last 2 games. Also, not retiring. He's still planning.
Not retiring. Not being forced to retire. Not retiring. So here's the deal. I feel badly for Kawhi, and I think Wildes got it exactly right. Wildes said last week or 2 weeks ago, when the news came down, that we should look at Kawhi not as a healthy player that gets injured, but as an injured player that fights to get healthy. But if after taking last year, I shouldn't say taking it off, but after not playing last year, and then load managing all the way through the year to get ready for the playoffs, he lasted, according to the reports, he hurt his knee in game 1. Less than one playoff game without hurting his knee. You can't rely on him. You have the 30th pick this year. You don't have a pick next year. You don't have a pick in 26. You swap picks in 25. You have no cap flexibility, and the new CBA comes down the hardest on 2 teams, the Clippers and the Warriors, because they've been the big spenders. That's why the most they can offer Russ is $3.8 million. Paul George and Kawhi Leonard have played about the same amount of career playoff games together as Trae Young and John Collins. They're 13-11 in the playoffs together. We're 4 years into it. I don't see a path forward for the Clippers.
No.
This is
the
their
championship
roster.
window's over. They missed it. They blew it in the bubble. Now, I don't know that they would have beat the Lakers. I'm just saying.
They were up 3-1.
They're up 3-1 in the
healthy.
second round against Denver. That was the only chance they had when Kawhi and Paul George were healthy. It's similar to Brooklyn. They did actually get a shot. Brooklyn never really had that one season where Kawhi,
the next
Kyrie,
year, the year
LeBron,
after, but
or
then
KD
they got hurt.
and Harden were together.
Yep, they got hurt.
They did have one chance with PG and Kawhi, and they blew it in the bubble. Going forward, look, I would talk to teams about Kawhi and PG, but no, who's taking their contracts? Kawhi's got $45 million guaranteed next year. $49 million guaranteed the next year if he wants it as a player option. Same thing with Paul George. So I think they're going to have to run it back. If I'm Russ, I'm going back to the Clippers.
I am too.
Number one, I don't see a team out there that's going to give him big money. I mean, only 2 teams I can think that might even think about bringing him in would be Miami. And, I mean, if Washington wants to just, they do silly stuff like that. So maybe
he's
feel
happy.
you. So, well, look, he's made nearly $350 million in his career. He's at home in Los Angeles. The Clippers want him and need him to some degree. He fits. He should stay with them, even if it's for $3.8 million. Because I don't think anybody's giving him big money. So if he went anywhere else, it'd be only a little more.
Can I tell you why I don't think that's going to happen? Because I don't think it's about the money, but it's about what the money represents. And Russ, I think, feels somewhat fairly, somewhat unfairly, that he has been wildly disrespected.
Sure, but
by the media, by teams,
over the last 2 years.
Over the last couple years. And Wildes, you don't think that his pride will
What's the option,
get in the way?
You don't think a team's going to give him?
I think someone will give him $12 million. $13 million. I think the Miami thing's an interesting one. Okay. I think because
that would be interesting because they could probably.
But
use
I
him
think
too.
that Wildes, it would. Again, I don't know Russ. I'm not pretending I know Russ. This is just from reading and from watching him for 15 years. That I think he would feel like it would be admitting defeat, like those folks that were saying I wasn't a great player anymore. I kind of proved this series I kind of could be, but now I'm playing for less than $4 million, close to the league minimum.
Charlotte, make $12 million, not make the playoffs, be unhappy.
Can I ask you a question? Do any of us think that the Clippers are championship contenders?
Not championship.
So you're going to
But they could make the playoffs.
Right, but there's a lot. But I think there's a lot of teams that with Russ as the guy could find a way into the playoffs. It'd be one thing to take the money if it's like we're going to go win a title, but you're not with the Clippers.
All right, let's move forward. Denver won. Remember this?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Remember, Joker's brothers were not happy about it.
They got swept and he got thrown out.
Yep. Denver favored by 3 in Game 1.
Yep.
Nick, who do you have? You're a big fan of the Joker.
All right, so going into these playoffs, I had Lakers Suns in the conference finals. And I think I had the Suns over the Nuggets in 6, if I remember correctly. I don't feel that way anymore. I think the Nuggets are going to win.
Wow.
He likes Denver. I think that the minutes plus what I think has been a very porous Suns defense that the Clippers couldn't take full advantage of, plus the altitude of Denver, plus the what is a 5-man rotation, 6-man rotation, all of that. I don't know who on Phoenix can guard Jamal Murray. I know that Jokic this year against Phoenix averaged 31, 17, and 12. I like I'm shocked because I have not been exactly the biggest Nikola Jokic and Nuggets guy, but I feel differently than I did 10 days ago. I think the Nuggets win the
it's
series.
A good series. Denver's a tough team, especially if Jamal Murray can be bubble Jamal Murray.
Yeah.
He was for like 2 games against Minnesota. But I'm picking the Suns in 6. I don't want to go back there for a game 7 if I'm Phoenix at altitude, like you said, in Denver. But I don't think the Nuggets defense is good enough to stop that juggernaut of an offense. The two, clearly the best offensive duo in the league, in Durant and Booker. They had trouble at times with Minnesota. And they're a silly team, as I've said. They're not a smart team. Phoenix is a smart team. They are, great, more talent, much more talent than Minnesota. Now, I think if they face the Lakers or the Warriors in the playoffs, the Suns are going to have to be a little more sophisticated offensively.
Sure. Okay.
You can't just go one-on-one D-Book, one-on-one KD. I think they'll be able to survive against Denver.
Suns in 6 is correct.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.